Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Mic Drop. I'm Mike Molohon, your host of this particular channel. And today I am dropping a mic drop that is going to continue a part of, it's getting huge now. I think we're almost up to part 15 of the Middlebury Entitlement School Saga. But today's is just going to be real simple. It's not going to be a lot of forethought. It's going to be very declarative. Okay? I don't normally try to be declarative. I try to be a little bit more expositional. I try to encourage conversation and lead people to their own truths. But sometimes there comes a time where you need to stand on your own truth pretty solidly, especially when people are trying to come up and try to either attack it or make it look like it's something that it's not. I mean, you have a right to defend your truth too. And some people are taught not to. And I was one of those two. So hopefully if these videos are giving you anything as far as words of encouragement and emboldening your own sense of self or truth, that would be the purpose. But today we are going to use one of my favorite words of all time to prove a point. We're going to use data. And I'm going to show you the data of what has transpired with the mic drop, because there are still some people out there that no matter how much you want to put the truth in front of them, they want to try to make it and twist it into something that it's not. Now, that's not to say that the truth is changed. Your truth is trying to make my truth look like something that it isn't. And I have a right to defend that. Now, if your truth is you don't believe my truth and you believe my truth is something else, you're entitled to that too. Only I'm not going to fight you on that. Because I love you. You matter. You breathe. You're allowed to have an opinion. I'm not disputatious enough to make you feel less than human because you have an opinion that differs. It really shouldn't be that hard, honestly. In my opinion. I'll say that. Maybe it is hard to some. I guess if you've been entitled for so long, it's hard to break a pattern of entitled behavior. But we're creatures of habit, so that happens. What I'm about to show you right now is the data that I have acquired from, and this is live data on YouTube site. And you guys may not know this, but my webcam is movable. Ooh, it's removable. Yep. So I'm going to go ahead and switch you over real quick, and not to give you guys some vertigo, I'll go ahead and knock it off here. And this is for any of you guys that have a YouTube channel, this is an analytics page. And I'm going to try to put this over here so I can see. Ooh, that's kind of a cool effect, isn't it? Does a... oh, okay, sorry. It's like putting a mirror up next to a mirror. Like you can see infinite numbers of your own video, which I think is kind of cool. Anyway, here's what I wanted to point out. This is... there's my picture, studio, the mic drop, my videos, that kind of thing. This is the analytic portion. This is live data from YouTube right now, okay? At the top, even though it's a little blurry, it says 1,000 hours of watch time. It says current subscribers, 203. Oh, 201 in the last 28 days. Views, 15,700. Watch time hours, 1,600. So this 1,000 hours of watch time, we're already, onto our second 2,000 hours of watch time. We're halfway there. Okay? Now, you may be asking, Mohan, what's the point of this? Well, the only thing that can silence false accusations are truthful testimonies. False allegations and allegations and accusations, they thrive based on whether or not you would believe something is true or not. That's where they thrive. That's why gaslighting becomes such a powerful, arsenal weapon of most people that want to try to control you. If they can control how you see yourself, they can control anything. The reason I showed you that is because there's, again, still some people that think this is just a guy who, wasn't liked by his members of who he worked with, and is now doing this like tantrum cry for help. Guys, if that were the case, then I wouldn't have subscribers. If it were just me that only had this problem, every time I post a video, there would be comment after comment after comment on why it's not true or what different truths are. Have you read the comments lately? Nearly all of them are, oh my gosh, thank you for sharing this. Here, let me tell you how I was bullied or marginalized or made to feel less than when I went through the school systems or when my kids went through the school systems or whatever. I wouldn't have over 200 people waiting for this channel to come up with new content every single day. And I can guarantee you people aren't spending thousands of hours on their butt watching things that they're not interested in. They're not getting close to 16,000 views on things that they just don't want to see anymore. So the data suggests, and I love using that word because no one who controls anyone in the world ever uses the word suggests. They'll use the word shows, proves, dictates, commands, big, powerful, CEO words. Data is just data. Like the truth, it can be interpreted in so many different ways by many different people. I'll show you right now. I will play advocate to my own self on those data points right now as if I'm a naysayer. Ready? Here, I'm going to take off the glasses so at least there's something a little different. There's my Clark Kent. I don't have the Superman curl, so we're not going to go with it. Naysayer. Potential. Yeah, you've got 203 subscribers. That's good. But what's to say that you're not the one that's just watching your videos like over and over and over again and ramping up your own score? Or like paying people to do it? Or watch... I'm trying to think of really anything they could throw at this one because most of the stuff that they try to throw at me is really childish. So I'm trying to find an adult version of how to be attacked kind of preventatively, just so I could show you guys something. Data is not the truth. Ooh, I felt that from some of you. Some of you felt like I just broke the law. Some of you felt like I just committed the most sacrilegious sanctimony saying I've ever said in my life. And others are screaming from the back, say it louder. Perks of being an empath. You tend to understand the audience that follows you because you genuinely care about them. And of my 203 subscribers, if you guys are here to support my truth, then I'm going to support you as if you're one of mine. Even if it's dissenting, as long as it's respectful, as long as it is your truth that you want to stand by and share with it, you got my support. Even if your truth is standing right next to me and calling me an idiot, if you've got valid reasons, I'll probably be right next to you with the sign and be like, yeah, that time I was an idiot. I mean, granted, I was going through a butt ton of personal trauma and definitely not in the right place of mind, but you're right, I did it. I was very idiotic in that moment. I've got nothing to hide. But all the people that seem to be commenting on my videos that don't like how I respond intellectually then decide to go and try to talk to me in private. Yet I keep asking people to talk to me in public. The math doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense that if one man has a personal grudge against a school corporation, that he would have 200 different people following him saying, here's my story too. So in this instance, my truth, my mic's drop, is that the data suggests, not confirms, not denies, it suggests heavily that I'm not the only one sharing this story, that I'm not the only one with this testimony, that I'm not the only person to have gone through that school system and come out poisoned and just so toxic that, I wasn't even able to work for a year. I went into full-on self-care recovery, full intensive therapy and everything. That's how damaged I was coming out of that toxic school system. And thankfully, I fought back to a place where I can go back into the school systems this next year and continue the career that I've always wanted, but I should have never been put in that position to begin with. Ever. Neither should any of your children, neither should any of you, parents, if you're trying to do what's right by your children. And definitely none of the staff members that are pouring into your children every single day, and they're getting poured on top of every single day by a corrupt establishment that doesn't do a lot for their self-care. And I said that pretty clearly at the school board meeting the last time, but still haven't had anybody reach out. Okay? So that's going to be a mic drop moment for you guys to process on and come up with your own truth. Okay? Politicians will point to data every single time as proof. I will never point to data as proof. That's the difference between me and anybody else. Data informs the truth. Data suggests possible truths. They are not the truth. Now, if you want to do simple math and you're not trying to extrapolate anything from it other than basic numeric mathematical equations, yeah, that's not going to vary. Math is pretty uniform. Math stays math. I shouldn't have said that. I forgot that most of my people are educators, and well, I'll just say this. I'm sorry for Common Core. That's all I'll say. As a school counselor, I've been able to counsel a lot of teachers that have had certain challenges in their own profession. So, I love you guys. I really, really do. So at this point, if you're gonna be brave enough to come onto my YouTube channel and make comments about things, I'm gonna give you one chance to do so in a way that is honoring to the mic drop and the 203 subscribers that watch it. You're gonna do so publicly. You want to go and debate me privately? I'm gonna post every single thing we talk about publicly. So don't try. Okay? You guys are afraid to come into the light when you're corrupt because that's where it dies. Corruption will die if it's brought into the light of truth. Every single time. It's got a 100% success rate. So, that portion of the mic drop aside, I want to give you a little bit of something else. Okay? Next week, there's another school board meeting. And it's on Tuesday. It's on the 20th. And I'm not sure, people have reached out to me and say, Molohon, are you going to be at that one? Are you going to try to show up and talk? Or are you going to do this? Are you going to do that? Are you going to do this? Are you going to do that? I'm content with my truth being shared for me if I believe in the representative that's sharing it for me and going there. Right now, Pam Kaiser asks the right questions, and she's there asking those questions, and I'm happy that she's there asking those questions. I wish she'd be given more time to talk. I wish she'd be given more time to not be interrupted so that we can actually get answers instead of, no, we've decided it's inappropriate for us to answer on that because we are us. Why is it inappropriate? We don't need to comment on that to anyone ever because we're us. Okay? Your little Middlebury Community Schools administration office boardroom is tiny. Small power. The power of the internet and the First Amendment, big power. Big power. You don't see a lot of the corruption that happens in corrupt establishments being made available by conventional means, which is one of my favorite. It was one of my favorite comments that I heard. Is like, why are you doing this online? Why do you have to do this on YouTube? Why can't you be a man and get a lawyer like everybody else? I'm sorry. You want me to play your way, the way that you have been playing everybody else and winning successfully and corrupting everyone for longer maybe than I've been alive. That's how you want me to play? Thank you for the suggestion. I politely decline. You're welcome to hire a lawyer, and he can represent your truth. I'll talk with him. I love lawyers. Lawyers are some of my favorite people, and I know that's going to get me a real big target on my back, but I'm not used to it because let me tell you the intent of a lawyer. The intent of a lawyer is to have someone who can fight for you and your truth in the arena of the law. In its essence, a lawyer is supposed to be an advocate. Now, again, corrupt establishments corrupt politics, any type of corruption can change a profession into something that looks slimy. It just doesn't, it feels yucky, but that's not the point. Point is, even corrupt establishments become blind to their own corruption. And some of the corrupt people that are within those believe that everything that they're doing is 100% pure. And it may be 100% pure for the people in your world. And if your world only carried the people in your world that you wanted, that would work. But you cannot keep marginalizing the children at Middlebury Entitlement schools because they don't fit your model. And instead of embracing them and bringing everyone on the same page as a school, shunning them and using them as a data point to excuse why your graduation rate dropped 10% since the year that I've left. It's a truth. These are words from your own school board meetings that I've watched the videos of when you're talking about the percentages. I have a personal graduation rate over the 10 years that I've been a high school counselor of 99%. I've graduated over 1,000 children since I've been doing this, which means 10 or less have not graduated. That's a data point. I could stand on that all day long and shout from a rooftop that I'm one of the best counselors that this world has ever seen based on that data point alone. You know what data point I love a lot more than that? One of the very first ones I mentioned in the mic drop. I have a 100% suicidal child successful living rate. And now you're going to understand really clearly the difference between Middlebury Entitlement schools and someone who cares about the children of Middlebury Community Schools. Middlebury Entitlement schools would focus on that 99% and then scrutinize me and want to know every single detail about those 10 to the nth degree. Now, I'm not saying that that's a bad thing. Obviously, you really want to know why your children don't graduate, but to the extent that you make someone feel like it's their fault, shame on you. Because you don't want to take accountability and responsibility for the lack of support that you pour into the schools, into those staff members that are trying to love on those kids. Shame on you. This is a mic truth, and it's a mic drop, and it's been a controversial one, but I don't care about controversy. I care about the kids. And right now, it's possible that if the self-care at Middlebury Entitlement schools was healthy or working, you wouldn't have had a suicidal staff member in the middle school parking lot. I don't know if that's true, but I think it may stand to reason, and I'd be willing to debate the reason of that with anyone. Problem is, you guys don't like how I debate. I finally come to figure out why. I don't attack you the way that you want to be attacked. In fact, I don't attack you, period. You guys are used to a fight when people throw a dissenting opinion out there and like, well, I don't agree, actually, I feel like it's like this. And the expectation is that you're going to attack that person, not their ideas, not even their truth. You're going to attack the person so bad that the truth no longer becomes relevant out of their mouth because you've made them look so terrible in everybody else's eyes. And I can't quite help but think how you wanted Middlebury community to look at what happened with John Homan. Because it seems to me, based on some of the stories that I've gotten, and you can read them, they're here on the comments, so it's not my truth, of the lack of clarity in the investigation, the lack of results, period, the fact that no one is talking about it, the fact that when someone came to talk about it, you systematically eliminated him and tried to cancel him from your entire school district. Like, that just breathes of corruption, y'all. I mean, I can't write this stuff. But you could turn it on, HBO Max or, any one of like the real big old dramas on TNT, and it's right there. You guys are writing your own episodes for me. So at what point do you want to have an adult conversation and quit trying to do this asynchronously? Because I'm name the time and place. I do a town hall. I'll sit there with you guys until I drop, answering questions, speaking my truth, speaking other people's truths for them, because they're afraid, because you have made them afraid to share their truth to you. Shame on you. I wanted to use data to show you guys how it can be used both in a very positive, constructive, compassionate, and loving way to help support and inform your own truth, and how corrupt people would try to use it to enslave / control / whatever you guys think. I really, really, really have come to feel like this mic drop thing that I'm doing is actually supposed to happen. It's a part of my catharsis, which is a really big psychology term meaning how I heal well. It's helping me process through the years of toxicity. And I'm a verbal processor, as you can tell. My way that I express myself is very verbally, very extravagant, very verbose, very voluminous. I've always been an orator, more than I've always been, someone who writes well or listens well. I'll give my mom's prop on that one. She told me that for most of my life, that I could stand to learn to listen a little better. And you know what? She was right. She was right. I could stand to listen a little better. And when I stopped trying to listen for what I wanted to hear and started trying to hear what they wanted me to listen to, it changed me as a counselor. For the better. It's really what emboldened my ability to be a jovial professional and really strengthened my ability to meet the kids where they're at before I would hope to expect them to elevate to where we would want them as educators. It's a different type of way of doing things, but it's got really good results. Couple of things that I'm going to leave you with on the forefront, because I kind of want you to understand how this has been growing. Okay, right now, within 3 weeks of the creation of the mic drop, there's been 200 subscribers, and there's been all that stuff. Okay, so this medium of mic drop communication is solid, and I'm not going to try to change it, because if it's not broke, you don't fix it. What I'm going to try to do is I'm trying to embellish it or improve it or increase it in its awareness. To that end, I'm going to look into other social media platforms to try and express some of the stronger points of my message. One of the ones that all of my students and graduates keep reaching out to me is like, Molohon, you need to do a TikTok. You need to do a TikTok. And I'm like, I've got a lot more to say than the 15-second TikTok videos. They're like, no, Molohon, it's different now. You can do up to like 10 minutes, and you can really highlight some of like the important stuff in your videos that you're talking about. You can share. So I've been kind of processing through that. And regardless of anybody's political feelings on TikTok, if you understand anything about me, which you should, if you breathe, I love you unconditionally. Doesn't matter if you're from this country or not. Doesn't matter if you're from a country that we wouldn't agree with or not. You're human. You matter. And because of that, if there is 7.7 billion people on the planet, and a majority of them are using one social media to express everything that's currently going on right now, it would make sense as a person who's trying to share a truth that has been stifled. And it's not only the truth of himself, it's the truth of many that have been stifled. You try to find, some of the biggest venues to go ahead and reach it out. And in case you guys haven't learned yet by me, I don't have any fear when it comes to the public eye. I was born in the public eye. When you're the first of 10 grandkids, you're the next generation of your family. Sometimes you get put in the spotlight. And I never shirked away from it. It was a natural place for me to go. It's not for everybody. I know school counselors that have my undying respect to the degree I can't even put into words, that are to this day terrified to get up in front and talk to kids in mass. And that's perfectly fine, dude. That's why you have a team of counselors that do things differently with different talents. It's why you don't try to cookie cutter everything. and try to make everybody do the same thing because you're eliminating the natural gifts and talents of everyone else. I'm going to do something right now you guys probably aren't expecting. I'm going to compliment the Northridge High School counselors individually on some of their talents that are just awesome. Okay, Kelsey Tote, her attention to detail, the meticulousness of it, it's extravagant. It's powerful. Okay, Andrea Smeltzer, her ability to remain calm in the midst of a lot of high charged emotion. That's something that I don't really have as much of a handle on. I get passionate, So that's a talent that I don't have that could probably serve in a capacity where my extravagance wouldn't do as much to help a child as someone who, could stay in the level head. Which is why you do that. It's why you meet. Oh my goodness gracious. When you're on a team full of female counselors and a male student comes to you wanting to talk to you about a male problem or a male issue, the last name alphabet no longer matters sometimes. And I never had a problem where any of my female students wanted to come in and talk to me about female stuff, going right to one of my counselors and saying, hey, you know what? This is an area that I'm not as an expert on. Would you join me in this one? I know where my expertise can limit and go, but I'm also still growing. I'm also not ignorant of the things that I'm not good at because I'm human. So are you. There's a chance that by the end of this week, the mic drop will be on TikTok. And for some of you guys that don't know what that is, I'll tell you. For other of you say the guys just like lit up because you're like, oh my God, really? It's currently, aside from Facebook, it's probably the most widely used social media platform right now by number of users. And Facebook and Instagram kind of go hand in hand, so that kind of goes there. But TikTok's kind of the new what people are listening to. And if you have a message, a compassionate message, a message of truth that's been stifled by every current or known way of communication, or I'll put it another way, Middlebury Entitlement Schools has been experienced long enough with current forms of media communication that they have enough lawyers in place to try to control it. Can't do that on social media unless I'm employed by the school corporation, which I will never be employed by that school corporation again, willingly. But yeah, that's coming. And I've already started the process of looking into, incorporating my shorts and my videos on there just to kind of spread a better audience. So when that comes to fruition, I will share that information with you guys too. One last thing I'm going to leave you with. And I mentioned this earlier. Next week, there's a school board meeting. It's within my heart to want to attend because there's no graduation that they could use to say he's going to show up to screw up a ceremony of some kind, or any children rather that usually attend the board meetings, which again, the children have never been the issue. I'll say this before Middlebury Community Schools can do anything else, and I'm glad I put this at the end of the video because most of them don't watch it all the way to the end. I'm going to find a way to have my voice heard at the school board meeting on Tuesday, this coming next week. Am I going to be there in person? I'm not going to tell you that yet. Where am I going to be? I'm not going to tell you that either. Why? Because right now, if Middlebury Entitlement Schools listen to this message, they know they're on a clock. And they have less than 1 week to try to come up with an excuse on changing the venue, the time, anything about the school board meeting. Look for words like gas leak, water main break, construction, didn't just have enough people in attendance because everybody's on vacation, blah, 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 blah. Look for that stuff, okay? Because after the success of how graduation went, my fear of trespassing on their property in order to get my message heard, it doesn't scare me. And it won't stop me. Not from sharing the truth in a very loving way that needs to be heard by people other than you loudly. and uncontrolled. Could be fun. I will give you more details as it gets closer. The plan is still formulating in my mind, but from what I'm putting together, let's just say it's going to be worth attending a school board meeting. In my eyes. That's all I'm going to leave you with right now, because we hit the 30-minute mark and I try to keep these episodic. You should know that I absolutely love you guys 100%. Every single one of you matter and will always continue to matter no matter what anybody else says, and your support means everything to me. When a man is meant to feel alone and that his truth is untrue and isolated, hearing from hundreds of people saying, you're not alone, bro. I went through the same thing. My kids went through the same thing. It's been very affirming for me. So thank you for those of you that have been courageous enough to share your stories up to this point. And for those of you guys that are kind of on the fence a little bit about sharing it, stay on the fence as long as you want. Watch. Feel comfortable. Make your own decision and your own timing on when or if you would want to join this type of movement. Okay? I'm going to support your truth either way. Even if I don't know about it, I know you have one. And it's worth supporting. So, one way or another, you're going to get advocated against, or with. Again, you're going to get advocated for, even against whether or not you would want to be advocated for. And yeah, you're going to get bilaterally just accidentally advocated for, like, adjacent. Yeah, advocacy adjacent. That's kind of a cool term I may run with. Anyway, before my mind gets too special out of here, carry on. Talk with you guys next week. This has been Mike for the Mic Drop. We out.